Welcome to Power Cave Training. It's been a while since I posted. I've had some things happen. We were going to do a meet back in early May, and a couple nights before the meet, my grandson had a car accident, and then we had some health issues with other members of the family, so we didn't get to do that. And then I got something in my eye that was stuck in there, and I had to go to urgent care, and they put some stuff in there, but I had eye drops for 3 days, and every time I blinked, it was like my eyelid was going over the top of something, and it was just miserable. And then my hand was bothering me. Hasn't recuperated. At that point, hadn't recuperated to where I thought it should be. I had about 30% of the gripping strength in my right hand. I had my left, and being right-handed, that made it pretty tough. I had trouble even holding a jar or unscrewing a lid off of a jar, so that was difficult. And so I'm trying to figure out why things were not improving. So originally I thought, well, let's just quit. We had 39 good years of competing and doing a run. Maybe it's time to give up the weightlifting and find something else. But then I was digging through some shirts. I love motivational shirts and shirts that I get from meets to remember where I've been and how I've done that. I found this shirt that I bought a while back, and after I looked at that, thought about it, I thought, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to reevaluate why this is not working. So part of the thing is I have this thing called the rotator cuff solution, and it's balls that there's four different sizes. I'm on number 3 now. I started on number 1, and that was hard. And you just do different swings with this thing, and it's hard to explain why it works, but it seems to work pretty good. And you do different directions, and then sideways and like that. So I do this every other day, 2 sets of 30 each direction for 4 different ways, and that's helped a lot. Then I thought about, I was doing stretching for my shoulder and my hand, and what I've come to the conclusion of is I was overstretching. There's a big difference between stretching and then take that little extra bit more. Just because you loosen up a little bit don't mean that injury is gone. It just means that it's loosened up a little bit. So I try to keep within that range. I get to a certain point now, and I know I can't go beyond that at this present time. And as I can move forward, then I decide to do that. So that was another thing I learned. And then I have to aggressively go after building my hand strength again. So again, I started using this daily and set it up, try to make it tougher as I go. And then I have these figure bands that I got from Iron Mind, and you just cover all your figures up, and that works up in here and strengthen my hand, and that started feeling a lot better. It's painful while I'm doing it, so it's kind of hard. And then different kinds of stretches for my fingers and stuff. So my hands down, pull my fingers back, that kind of stuff. But I force myself to do that because when I'm done, I feel a lot better. And now I've gained back. I'm probably 60% now of the strength I have in my left arm I have in my right, and so it's getting better. Shoulder pain's a lot less often. And then so whenever I do work my shoulder hard, which is about 2 or 3 times a week, I always take a low dose ibuprofen when I'm done to keep the inflammation down. That seems to help a lot. I don't take a lot. I take one tablet usually, and that's enough. So, and then I learned about actually lifting weights. And the problems that come into it is whenever you lift a weight and you bring it up and you drop it, this is stopping that weight at the bottom. So if you're going to do this and then come right back up with it, you're going to tear the joint eventually in your life. And I'm talking about a lifetime of experience here. Eventually you're going to rip something. If that's dropping fast on a squat, you're going to blow your knees. Going too fast on a deadlift, you're going to pull your hamstrings, you're going to hurt your back. So what I've learned to do now is not a negative, but 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we found out was the weight we were able to do went way down because that makes it a lot harder. My joints got a lot better all the way around. I don't have hardly any of the pain I was having before that. So that is what I did to make this. So to recap, it's you work that area under control. You work your hands, find things that'll work for your hands, shoulders, different exercises you can do. Don't take it into the pain zone too far. And then make sure you keep your inflammation down. Whatever way you want to do that, you can do that with heat, you can do that. I'm not fond of icing, I just like warmth. I think that brings the blood in. And then not overdoing it. And then my rest days are absolute rest days now. I don't lift 6 days a week. I take a couple, 2 or 3 days where I don't do anything except stretching and maybe some therapy stuff in the house. So I don't come out here and lift anymore. Find something that works. The rotator cuff work for me. Don't stretch beyond what you can stretch comfortably, and then try to push it a little bit more as you feel better and better. And then don't never be afraid to go backwards, no matter if it's on how much weight you're using, if it's how fast you're moving, if it's how often you're lifting. Don't be afraid to go backwards to get back to where you're healthy again. So as long as you can always push forward. There are points of no return where you just don't get better. And I see that a lot of times. And when you get older, it takes a lot longer to recover, maybe 3 times as long as when I was younger. So right now, this injury is about 7 months old. And when I tore this one, it took me 4 years to get it back to where I could bench in competition again. So it takes time. And then, like I said, weights under control. Don't jerk, don't boom, all that. Go down, boom. Go down, boom. You should always get that little bit of stop there. Don't hit that where you're jerking at the bottom, because that puts on a 315-pound bench press. When you're jerking at the bottom, you're putting 700 pounds of pressure on one of the weaker joints in the body. So it's just an injury waiting to happen. So be smart. Don't learn the hard way like I did. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Power Cave Training.